welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're switching gears a bit. We're not looking at, global economics or ancient history. Instead, we're diving into something, well, closer to home for many of us, how we actually learn language, specifically through popular music. Our source material for this deep dive is, it's an excerpt from an educational guide. It's called Song Lyric Analysis, Meaning and Pronunciation. And what it does is take the lyrics of a popular English song, a single song, and it really breaks it down. So our mission today, figure out why this dual approach focusing on both meaning and pronunciation is supposedly such a powerful learning shortcut.
It really is a shortcut, and I think it's aimed squarely at you, the learner, trying to get up to speed quickly. You can tell the source is practical. It's from a video series, Learn and Success, episode 98, apparently. That structure suggests, efficiency. It doesn't get bogged down in abstract theory. It jumps right into the two things you need for communication, what the words actually mean, the semantics, and crucially, how they sound when spoken or sung. That's the mechanics, the pronunciation.
Okay, that framework makes sense. But hang on a second. Why put so much effort, this really deep analysis, into a popular song? I mean, these are songs we hear constantly on the radio, streaming. Shouldn't the meaning be pretty obvious?
Well, that's the interesting part, isn't it? The seeming simplicity is often deceptive. Pop music, especially current English language pop, it's like a melting pot for language change. It moves fast. It's not just standard vocabulary. You get tons of idioms, slang that might have popped up just months ago, or really dense metaphors sometimes. If you just grab a dictionary, you'll get the basic definition, sure, but you might miss the real point. Think about slang. Like if an artist calls something sick, the dictionary tells you about illness. But the analysis, this kind of analysis, makes sure you understand the cultural meaning that it means cool or impressive, right? It stops you from just passively hearing the sounds and pushes you towards actually understanding the nuance, the cultural fluency.
So when the source talks about meaning, it's really digging into that contextual meaning. Stuff that dictionaries often miss, like you said, the slang, the idioms, maybe cultural references that aren't obvious unless you're, in the culture.
Precisely. You might know every single word in a line, like, I don't know, spill the tea, but completely miss the gossip, meaning if you only know the literal definitions.
Yeah.
And this analysis points out that the artist isn't writing like a textbook. They're using shortcuts, cultural shorthand, because that's how people actually talk. So for someone wanting to learn quickly and thoroughly, like our target learner, decoding these shortcuts is essential. It's about understanding communication as it really happens.
Got it. So that handles the meaning, the semantics, the cultural layer. But now let's pivot. The source gives equal weight to pronunciation. This is where I think it gets really fascinating. Why is analyzing how the words sound in a pop song just as critical as understanding what they mean? It seems like a whole different skill set.
It is a different skill, but it's completely intertwined. Think of it as the bridge between passively knowing the language and actively using it. Or even just understanding it when you hear it live.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, singers in popular music, especially in faster genres, they aren't exactly enunciating like newsreaders, are they?
No, definitely not.
It's often stylized, it's quick, sometimes words get kind of mashed together. Linguistically, it can be messy. So the pronunciation analysis tackles that head on. It helps you, the listener, learn to pick out the words even when they're not delivered perfectly clearly. It trains your ear to distinguish between, say, formal written English and how sounds change in sung English. Things like elision become really important.
Elision, okay, technical term. Can you give a quick example? Break that down for us?
Sure. Elision is basically just, dropping sounds to make speech flow better, faster. It's efficiency. A super common one in lyrics is like gonna for going to, or wanna for want to. Or even more extreme, like hearing what you're gonna do instead of the full what are you gonna do.
Oh, right. Okay.
The analysis would highlight that transformation. Whatcha? That mush of sound actually represents what are you. If your ear isn't tuned to catch that connection, if you're waiting for the clear, separate words, what are you, then you've lost the meaning of the line instantly.
I see. So it's not just about learning to speak with contractions. It's about training your ear to recognize them in real time, even when they're sung quickly or unclearly.
Exactly. Because if you can't parse the sounds accurately, then all that work, understanding the potential meanings, the idioms, it doesn't help much if you didn't even catch the words in the first place.
Right, the semantic analysis becomes kind of useless then.
Pretty much. And there's more to it than just contractions. Analyzing pronunciation in a song also teaches rhythm, stress, intonation. English is a stressed-timed language, meaning some words and syllables get more emphasis than others. That emphasis carries meaning. In a song, the melody often forces certain stress patterns. Analyzing that shows you how rhythm works in spoken English, too. It's a very practical application.
Okay, so you're getting a model for real-world speech patterns,
Yeah.
not just isolated sounds.
Yes, exactly. It provides this memorable rhythmic template for how contemporary English actually flows that builds listening comprehension and speaking confidence way faster than just, drilling vocabulary lists silently.
I can see the appeal, definitely.
Hmm.
But I wonder, how effective is it really compared to more traditional methods, like dedicated study, grammar drills? Is a pop song genuinely a superior learning structure, or just more fun?
I'd argue it can be structurally superior because of the fun, or rather the engagement factor. And the format matters too. Remember, the source is from a video series. That means it's likely visual and auditory. They're probably not just showing you the lyrics.
Right, they might highlight words, show mouth movements, play audio clips slowly.
Precisely. You're getting the information through multiple channels at once. You see the word, you hear it pronounced clearly, maybe see how it's formed, and you hear it in the context of the song. That's very powerful for retention.
Multimodal learning.
Okay. But the real magic, I think, comes back to the popular element you questioned earlier. Because it's a popular song, you, the listener, likely already have some connection to it. Maybe you enjoy it, maybe you've heard it a lot. There's often an emotional hook. So the learning points, the pronunciation rule they explain, or the definition of that slang term, they get attached to something catchy, something memorable, something you might even sing along to.
Ah, the earworm effect used for education.
Kind of. It's like,
Yeah.
it makes the information stickier. Compare memorizing elision means dropping sounds from a textbook versus hearing watcha in your favorite chorus and having the analysis explain that specific example. Which one are you more likely to remember next week?
Probably the song example, yeah. It's anchored to something concrete and, well, enjoyable.
Exactly. That's the efficiency.
So let's synthesize this. The framework from this source, using one piece of popular media, a song manages to deliver both that deep linguistic understanding, the meaning, and the practical auditory skills, the pronunciation. And it works because it leverages something familiar, engaging, and memorable. Maximum learning through maximum engagement, basically.
That's a great way to put it. It's efficient learning because it piggybacks on existing cultural relevance. It transforms passive consumption, just listening to music, into an active learning process. You start using the media itself as a really sophisticated teaching tool. And it underlines a key point. You can't really separate decoding language from decoding culture. To master English, especially contemporary English, you need both. What words mean and how they're used, how they sound in the real world, in speech and song.
Okay, so this deep dive really highlights the power of analyzing cultural texts, like songs, but only if you have that right framework, one that hits both the what meaning and the how pronunciation together.
Absolutely. And thinking about that dual focus leads to maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Based on what we've discussed, start paying attention to the delivery of language around you. Not just song lyrics, but maybe a news headline being read, a line in a movie, even how someone orders coffee. How does the way something says, the speed, the emphasis, the rhythm, the tone, how does that change or add layers to the literal meaning of the words? Does the delivery sometimes subtly contradict the dictionary definition or add urgency? Or irony? That interplay between the linguistic structure and the actual performance, the delivery, that's what this kind of dual analysis really helps you tune into. It's everywhere once you start listening for it.